Hi, I'm Ken Brooks with AGI. Today we're going to do a chamber cast. Now normally I do a chamber cast with the barrel on the receiver, okay, because the gun comes in, guy doesn't know, he just bought it at a gun show, doesn't know what caliber it is. Most of the time you're not going to want to pull the barrel off, and he's not going to want to pay you to pull his barrel off, do a chamber cast, then put everything back together and try not to scratch his gun. So anyhow, the long and the short of it is we have our barrel off of the receiver because it's going to be better for you to view what's actually going on. The first thing we're going to do is we want to make sure that there's nothing in our bore, and we want a light coat of oil in our chamber. Okay, just going to take an oily patch, run it through our barrel. Okay, once we have that nice coat of oil inside our bore, we need to plug our bore. Now once again, if this is a customer's gun, you're going to clamp it in here. Be careful, you don't want to get his barrel all scratched up. Okay, now I simply use paper towel. Rip it up, make yourself a plug of some sort. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. Shove it down in there. Again, I take the brush off because I don't want it sticking to the paper towel. Shove that paper towel down in there. Now I want to make sure that I'm down into the lands and grooves. So I will get, when the chamber cast comes out, I will get a view of the lands and grooves, the throat, the neck, and the rest of the case. Okay, so make sure that that's shoved down in there. We're in that far, which is plenty far enough. Set our rod aside. Turn our barrel up. Again, I'm going to angle it a little bit so you can get a good view in the camera. Now we're going to take our sulfur sublimed. That's what we use. This one's called sulfur flowers, and this one sulfur sublimed. That's what we have. You can use Cerosafe, obviously. That stuff's made specifically for this. I use vice grips that just because it helps hold on to the can, I don't have to worry about dropping the can. I got the sulfur inside. I'm going to take my propane torch. Doesn't need to be real hot. And I'm going to start warming on the bottom. Now, sometimes I'll move the can. When I get tired of that, I'll move the torch. Might even move the torch up along this edge because where I've used that as a spout, it's dried on that side and it might as well melt and flow back down into the bottom. Now you can see how it's starting to melt. You can melt it and then overheat it, and it actually will turn into a molasses type texture, real thick, runny, but more like honey. You don't want it that thick. You want it to be able to flow into the chamber. You can see I'm starting to melt more and more. Also, you don't want to hold the heat on it too much in one spot because it will start to smoke and it will catch on fire. It's a pretty blue color, but it stinks and it's really no fun and unnecessary. Now I'm holding this with my left hand. I am right-handed, and you can see I got the shakes. It's going to be fun watching me pour with my left hand, but it's going to be a better view for the camera. So, okay. Set our propane down. You can see there's a big chunk of gunk there that didn't quite melt up. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour that right into and fill up part of the safety breech in that barrel. As it cools, the center will be sucked down. It's no big deal, just kind of it doesn't really matter that the center sucks down, and you can go ahead and top it off if you want. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Okay, you notice that we filled it up, and I just kept adding until it filled up. If you run out of stuff and you only got half of it done, you can actually pour in fresh stuff, heat it up again, pour in fresh stuff on top. It'll stick to itself. It's not the best. Be aware. I don't want somebody going, hey, it doesn't work out that well. It will work. It's just not the best if you've got enough to Pour it in continually till you fill the chamber completely up. That is best. That works the best. But if you got to do it in 2 settings, that will work. Again, when you're doing a chamber cast, it's usually just to see what the caliber is. That's most often why we're asked. Occasionally people want to see how their throat and their lands and grooves are, and we can knock it out for that too. Okay, we've let her cool a bit. Let's step over to the bench and I'll knock that out for you. Okay, here's our chamber cast. Now normally I knock it out the other way because I'm, once again, right-handed. But so you can see this on the camera, I have a coated solid rod. Most cleaning rods will work. Run that in and press, and we come right out. Withdraw our rod. Let's take a look at our chamber cast. Okay, you can see your lands and grooves. You can see what your chamber looks like right up to the safety breech. Can anybody guess what caliber that is? Without looking at the .308 Winchester stamped on the barrel? Now, normally when I return one of these to a customer, I will simply break it off right there. Give them that. They get lots of lands and grooves. They can see their throat, they can see their case, they can see their chamber. Put it in a Ziploc bag and staple it to the repair tag, and it goes back with the gun. This piece I can simply break off the paper towel and throw it away. Throw this back in my can and recycle that portion. Now comes the nasty part. Normally when we do this, it's on a receiver. Okay? And when you're pouring down through a receiver, invariably, one little drop of that Cerosafe or sulfur will get into the locking lug or catch on the ejector or the left lug raceway or something. Now you're swabbing out the bore. You can use a dental pick to get in and clean it up. And once again, cleaning a gun is no fun. We all know that. Nobody wants to clean a gun. You know, we want to work on them. We just don't want to have to clean them. Anyway, clean it up real well. Inspect your safety lug, safety breech, recess in the barrel. I always inspect the barrel just to make sure nothing got left in there. I'll run a patch down through it to make sure it's extra clean. Clean it up, return it to the customer, charge an exorbitant amount of money, do whatever you want. Anyway, I'm Ken Brooks, and I'll catch you next time.